Good evening. In the news tonight, police continue to investigate the Vincennes accident that killed a 4-year-old boy. Investigators search for answers in this weekend's plane crash at a Nevada air show. And in sports, Lincoln fans are still celebrating the Alice's win over Jasper Friday night. News Center 22 starts now.
Local news, weather, and sports, produced through the combined efforts of the students, staff, and faculty of Vincennes University's electronic media program. This is News Center 22.
The investigation continues into this weekend's police accident in Vincennes that killed a 4-year-old boy, and police need your help. Good evening for News Center 22. I'm Mitch Columbi. Indiana State Police are asking for the public's help in locating a car involved in Saturday's fatal accident in Vincennes. A Knox County Sheriff's deputy was attempting to stop the vehicle in question when his squad car collided with a van at 17th and Busserin. A 4-year-old Bicknell boy, Jordan Walls, was unrestrained in the van and died from a head injury. 3 other people in the van were hospitalized for injuries, with 34-year-old Michael Kirby of Bicknell flown to St. Mary's in Evansville with serious injuries. Area law enforcement agencies are looking for the car, described as a late 80s or early 90s model red or maroon small type vehicle that resembles a Mazda RX-7. The vehicle was further described as being in poor condition. Anyone with information concerning this vehicle is encouraged to contact the Indiana State Police at 1-800-852-3970 or the Knox County Sheriff's Department at 882-7660. Anyone with information can remain anonymous. On the heels of this weekend's tragic accident, this is National Child Passenger Seat Safety Week. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has a set of guidelines aimed at helping children to stay safe while riding in vehicles. The NHTSA is now recommending that children be kept in a rear-facing car seat for as long as possible, even beyond the minimum age guideline of 12 months. Children should move on to the next size car seat when they reach the height and weight requirements, and the NHTSA says all kids under 13 belong in the back seat. Officials say most children should stay in a booster seat even after they reach the age of 8 because of their size. Officials recommend that children remain in a booster seat until they are taller than 4'9" and weigh more than 80 pounds. A Jasper man has been arrested in connection to a fatal shooting early Sunday. Indiana State Police say 25-year-old Tyler Bowles has been preliminarily charged with voluntary manslaughter in the death of 28-year-old Scotty Kirk of Newburgh. State Police say Kirk went to 6530 Kellerville Road in Jasper just after 3 a.m. Sunday for an unknown reason. He reportedly got into a fight with an unidentified man who lives there shortly after arriving. Bowles, who also lives at the home, reportedly attempted to break up the fight with a handgun. State Police say Bowles fired several warning shots in the air from a .45 caliber handgun. One of those shots allegedly hit Kirk's lower lip and lodged into the back of his neck. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Bowles was booked into the Du Bois County Jail on a $100,000 cash bond. Indiana State Police arrested a Gibson County grandmother on meth charges. Police say 42-year-old Tina Livermore was arrested Friday afternoon after a citizen's complaint was made regarding illegal drug activity at her home. Officers say when they arrived at Livermore's home on Stormont Street in Princeton, her 3-year-old granddaughter was in her care. A search of her residence turned up a small amount of meth, marijuana, and drug paraphernalia. Livermore is charged with possession of meth, neglect of a dependent, and possession of marijuana with paraphernalia. Livermore was booked into the Gibson County Jail. The child was later released to her mother. Knox County CASA is hosting a free event this week aimed to train adults to help kids going through difficult situations. The Help is on the Way seminar will be held for 2 sessions this Wednesday at the Fortnightly Club. The first session will be held during the day from 8:30 a.m. to noon. The evening session will run from 6 to 8 p.m. Guest speaker at the event will be author and CASA volunteer Adam Robe, who was introduced to foster care at the age of 5. Robe's unique book series based on the character Robbie Rabbit is used across the country by children welfare professionals and foster parents who want to help children in out-of-home care adjust better to tough changes in life. For more information or to register, you can call 886-4389 extension 34. The 2011 Chili Cook-Off in Vincennes is in the books. Several competitors lined Patrick's Drive on Saturday, filling the air with the wonderful aroma of their favorite chili recipes. Taking first place in the local competition was Frank Regal with his old school chili. Second place went to Lori Zimmerl, with third place going to Jennifer Stevens and Judy Mays and their hillbilly chili. In the official International Chili Society competition, Scott Barrett took top honors with the Rosita's Chili Surprise. The Taster's Choice title went to Robert Wohlers with his Booger Bob's chili. Best presentation went to Mikey Kane with one of our sister stations, the Max 96.7, taking third place in presentation. Looks like everyone had a good time. And that good time continued as VU students, faculty, and staff took part in an interesting competition themselves, the first ever VU tub race. This year's tub race took the place of the annual tube race. This is the second year in a row the tube race was not able to be held due to conditions of the Wabash River, particularly construction along the river this year. But those involved in the tub race had just as much fun out of the water this year. As several teams took part in the event, the VU Student Activities organized the race, with the Black Male Initiative team taking the top spot. Still to come on News Center 22, investigators are trying to find answers to this weekend's deadly plane crash at a Nevada air show. We'll have the latest, and President Obama has laid out his plan to cut the nation's deficit. We'll explain what he's proposing when we come back. Stay with us.
On the next History Detectives, what does this medal reveal about a top-secret American military project during World War II? What can this pennant tell us about one woman's role at a crucial point in the women's suffrage movement? And how does this curious artwork connect to the beginnings of some of our most beloved cartoon characters?
So what you're telling me is that Buddy was going head-to-head with Mickey Mouse.
Next time on Frontline.
They still had Iraq inside of them.
I didn't even want to come home.
You took a broken soldier and you sent him back.
I didn't want to live anymore.
You just feel like everybody's against you, and if you don't know them, they're your enemy.
Frontline investigates the invisible scars of war.
We give up part of our morality to go to war. It allows us to survive. It allows us to kill.
The Wounded Platoon.
It could be months before we know what caused a plane to crash in an air race in Reno, Nevada, killing 9 people, including the pilot. But investigators now say they may have new clues that could lead them to the answer. Rick Vincent reports.
This plane up here, we're going to have many casualties.
Yeah, I got about 10 doctors, 20 nurses, and about 15 EMTs standing by.
Audio recordings from first responders reveal the chaos after Friday's crash. Now federal investigators say they've uncovered items that may help piece together what led up to it. Memory cards that could belong to a camera attached to the plane or to a data recorder.
Obviously, the first thing is to determine whether any of them actually came from the accident aircraft, and then whether any of the images or data available will be relevant to the accident investigation.
Survivors of the crash are now starting to come forward. They say they're just as puzzled as investigators about what happened in the sky that day.
It just looked like there was lack of control or something was wrong. And then I don't know how long it took, but from that point to where the thing hit was a very short, compressed time.
Investigators are also focusing on the plane's tail. Several pieces of it have been recovered, and photos taken before the crash appear to show a critical piece called the elevator trim tab, either damaged or missing. I'm Rick Vincent reporting.
NTSB officials say some of the memory cards may have belonged to people in the crowd. If so, they'll be returned to them. Nearly 70 people were injured in the crash. President Obama outlined his debt-cutting plan today, saying Washington has to start living like American families within its means. But the multi-trillion-dollar plan has opposition already. Emily Schmidt has the details from Washington.
The nation's debt climbs by the second. So today, President Obama outlined his ideas to roll back the numbers by $3 trillion.
This is not class warfare. It's math. The money's going to have to come from someplace.
The president said his plan cuts $2 in spending for every dollar raised, reductions that he said would come in part from wrapping up the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and trimming Medicare. Social Security would be untouched. The plan would raise more than $1.5 trillion in new revenue, primarily by taxing the wealthiest Americans. They could see Bush-era tax cuts expire and a millionaire tax surcharge. Mr. Obama threatened to veto any bill that cuts Medicare while leaving taxes unchanged.
We are not going to have a one-sided deal that hurts the folks who are most vulnerable.
Republican leaders criticized the plan. Speaker John Boehner said in a speech last week he won't support tax increases. Others call the president's equation faulty.
What's missing in this discussion is the big problem in the budget, which is in the entitlement programs, and that's just an enormous miss for the president.
The president's plan comes as a special bipartisan committee tries to reduce the deficit by $1.5 trillion. No action there before Thanksgiving would mean mandatory across-the-board cuts. In Washington, I'm Emily Schmidt.
The road to peace in the Middle East could begin in New York this week. The 66th United Nations General Assembly kicks off on Monday. Among the topics being discussed, the Palestinian quest for statehood. Palestinian and Israel leaders will both attend to discuss a plan for lasting peace in the region. In the wake of a firestorm of subscription cancellations, Netflix is announcing a new business model. In a lengthy blog post on the Netflix website Sunday, CEO Reed Hastings announced the company's DVD by mail service will be renamed Quickster in the coming weeks. Services for current customers will remain unchanged, but by mail and streaming services will be managed on different websites. The web streaming service will remain named Netflix. The company recently announced a 60% price hike for DVD and streaming services, prompting over 1 million customers to pull the plug on subscriptions. Reed also apologized in the post to current and former customers for not being extra communicative. The stars were out for TV's biggest night Sunday, the 63rd Primetime Emmy Awards. It was an evening of drama, comedy, and an unexpected appearance from Charlie Sheen. Rick Vincent has the highlights in today's Hollywood Minute.
Good evening.
One of the most talked about actors last season wasn't nominated for an Emmy, but Charlie Sheen made a surprise appearance as a presenter. First, he had a message for his former co-workers on 2.5 Men.
From the bottom of my heart, I wish you nothing but the best for this upcoming season.
Glee's Jane Lynch was only the third woman to ever host the Emmys. She was also nominated for Supporting Actress in a Comedy, but lost out to Modern Family's Julie Bowen.
Welcome back to the Modern Family Awards.
The ABC sitcom dominated the night, taking home 5 awards, including Outstanding Comedy Series.
We are showing the world that there's absolutely nothing wrong with a loving, committed relationship between an old man and a hot young woman.
Mike and Molly's Melissa McCarthy was crowned Outstanding Lead Actress in a Comedy.
Wow, it's my first and best pageant ever.
And The Big Bang Theory's Jim Parsons took home his second Emmy for lead actor. On the drama side, Mad Men won Outstanding Series for the 4th year in a row.
I did not think that was going to happen.
Juliana Margulies won her second Emmy for The Good Wife, while Friday Night Lights star Kyle Chandler marked his first win.
Thank you so much.
For Hollywood Minute, I'm Rick Vincent.
Well, we finally have received some much-needed rain. But will it continue this week? Danny Taborn joins us now to let us know. Danny?
Don't put your umbrella away just yet, Mitch, because our chance for rain will continue through the week. I'll let you know when, right after this.
Next time on POV.
Now I am here. I came all the way from the